Tucked away in Jersey County, Illinois, you'll find the Treehouse Wildlife Center. This unique facility works to rehabilitate sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife. Coming up on this episode, the Paw Report goes on the road to meet some of the center's residents and find out how this organization has been going strong since 1979.
The Castle in Mattoon, Illinois, a gaming bar serving the Mattoon area since 1929. Full bar, draft beer, allocated bourbons, rotating daily specials, APA pool leagues, darts, and more. Monthly craft cocktail nights, open mic nights, and karaoke weekly. The Castle's lineup of concerts and events are on their Facebook.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
Well, welcome to this edition of the Paw Report. As you can see, we are not in the studios at our home base in Charleston, Illinois, on the campus of Eastern Illinois University. We've packed up all of our equipment, got in the car, and headed 2.5 hours, let's see, it would be south and east of Charleston, Illinois, to Dow, Illinois, and we are here on location at the Treehouse Wildlife Center. You're going to learn all about it today with our special guest, Marcie Nagle. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcoming us with open arms to the Wildlife Center today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You brought some friends with us hand and behind us, and we're going to learn all about that coming up.
Yep.
But first, what is the Treehouse Wildlife Center?
So the Treehouse Wildlife Center was started in 1979. The woman who started it, her name is Adele Moore, and at the time she and her husband were driving, saw an injured cottontail rabbit, stopped, wanted to get it help, and realized that there was no actual help in the area. There are veterinarians, but they were not skilled in wildlife rehab. So that rabbit spurred them to create Treehouse. And we are a center that does wildlife rehabilitation, rescue, also education. So, for example, someone brings in an orphaned squirrel. We're going to raise that squirrel, get it to a point of maturity where it can be released, and we will release it. But we might have animals that come in for various reasons, like Hazel or Einstein.
This is Hazel.
Hazel, who are not releasable for various reasons. And those are the animals that we use for our education. And we have education both on site, and we also take animals out into the public.
We're going to have a tour of the facilities here after our discussion is over, and I can't wait. So in the meantime, can you tell us about the wonderful grounds that we're conducting this interview on?
So we moved to this facility, this location, in 2010. Prior to that, they were located on Fosterburg Road in Brayton, Illinois. We came here. This was initially a family home for a professor from Principia College, and he built it to house his immediate family, and then the area that's our intern and gift shop area was a little apartment for one set of in-laws, and then our break room was an efficiency apartment for another in-law. So they all lived here together. Obviously, none of the enclosures out front were here at the time. And then when it was time to sell, we were looking for a bigger property, so we got this 8 acres. We converted the house to meet our needs. We've had all of our enclosures built and just set up shop.
I can only imagine what a normal day or a normal week is like here. So can you take us through your day, your week? How many animals are here? Does it vary by season? We are recording here at the end of June, very hot outside, and you just said it's a busy time here at the center because you're getting lots of calls about babies.
Right. So this is the busiest season that we have. It typically starts around the 1st of March. It will go until the end of September-ish, where we will get constant calls about baby animals. It may be fawns, squirrels, cottontail bunnies, opossums. We get calls about baby raptors like red-tailed hawks, various owls. And those calls come, for example, if we get a heavy windstorm, we're gonna get a bunch of calls about baby squirrels and baby raptors that are on the ground. People find baby fawns up on their foundation against the foundation of their home and assume that mom has abandoned them. We get calls about a hit by car opossum who the babies are still running around the mom. So we take all of those in, and if they're not injured, if they're simply an orphan, we raise them and then we release them. If we get an animal that's ill or injured, we will treat them. And if they're releasable, we release them. We have approximately 70 permanent resident animals like Einstein and Hazel that are under our care 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So far this year, since January, our patients, and we differentiate our patients from our permanent residents. So the patients so far this year is over 400.
Oh my. So back to the tell us about the day. I can only imagine what it's like each day taking care of the 70 residents that are on property. Can you help me understand that?
We have, this is, because it's the busy time and it's also summer, we also have a contingent of rotating interns who come in who are getting school credit if they're pursuing a biology or an environmental science degree or something like that. They'll come in and they stay here on site for up to 8 weeks and they work in the clinic. So they help us, but a typical day, we are in the clinic by 8 o'clock. If we have tiny babies that need to be fed multiple times a day, we feed them first. So the nursery babies are always first, and then we do all of the medical care, animals that need medication or bandage changes or things like that. And then a great deal of the rest of the day is spent doing cleaning of their enclosures, which gets done every day, laundry, which piles up faster than you can imagine. We are cutting up food, we are changing waters, everything that you would have to do, for example, to take care of a pet that you have to feed and water it every day. All of those animals have to be fed and watered every day, plus their enclosures cleaned. So we work 10-hour days and 7 days a week.
Do you ever get a day off?
If I leave out of state.
Oh, I tell you what, part of the center's success is its public education program. I know that a big reason not only is to help wildlife, but it's also to spread knowledge to the public about what you do. Talk about how important that education program is and your mission of what you do here.
So education is important because once someone loves something or understands it, they become invested. So if I want someone to want to take care of the environment, to take care of wildlife, I need them to be invested and see individuals. So people are often afraid of snakes, which is why when I go out on programs, I often take Hazel with me so that they can see she's very gentle, she's very calm, she's not going to hurt you. Just because you see a snake does not necessarily mean that that's something that you have to respond to in a negative way. We have ambassador coyotes because a lot of people feel fearful because they see coyotes in urban areas, and that's true. And so we try to educate that happens because coyotes are actually one of the most adaptable wild animals out there, and it's their intelligence and adaptability that has allowed them to survive when some other species can't. So when people see animals face to face and they learn their names and they learn their stories and they understand their habitat needs, they become more likely to want to help in ways that they can to maintain the environment.
Speaking of wanting to help, you have a lot of volunteers.
We do.
That keep the Wildlife Center going. Talk about their roles, how vital they are, and if somebody is interested in volunteering, do they necessarily have to be an expert at wildlife
No.
rehabilitation or any other area that would, appeal to this?
So volunteers are essential. They're vital. We are a nonprofit. We have a very, very small paid staff. Most of the work gets done by volunteers. If people are interested, we have a website, we have a Facebook page. They can go on and fill out applications. There are a variety of areas that people can volunteer in. You can volunteer in animal care. You can volunteer maintaining the center. You can be one of our maintenance men who have built all of these enclosures and maintain them. As far as know-how, really what we need is someone who is interested, wants to learn, isn't afraid of hard work, because one of the problems sometimes is people think they're going to come and they're going to cuddle baby animals, much like you would go to a shelter and cuddle and pet puppies and kitties. Mm-hmm. Except for some of our animals like Einstein and Hazel, our rehab patients, because they're meant to go back to the wild, are hands-off patients. So the cute babies, we do what we have to do to feed them and medicate them and make sure that they thrive. But past that, we don't talk to them, we don't name them, we don't cuddle them, because we don't want an animal that goes back to the wild who is accustomed to humans and is going to approach humans. Mm-hmm. So people who are willing to clean enclosures, do laundry, sweep, scrub, cut up meat, those kinds of things are the kinds of tasks that an animal care person will do.
We're all interested about the animals, mm-hmm. and you've got some really special ambassadors here mm-hmm. at the center. Tell us about some of the ambassadors. You've got, we didn't get too close to Einstein. Hazel is with you, but can you tell us a little bit about the ambassadors and maybe how you came to acquire them? I know there's a lot of them, so mm-hmm. maybe some of your favorites like Einstein.
So our ambassadors are all animals that were brought to us for some type of care that were not able to be released. So as an example, we have 5 bald eagles that are non-releasable that are our ambassador eagles. Every single one of them has a wing injury that required part of their wing to be amputated. Mm. So fun fact, bird bones are hollow. That's how they can fly. Mm. So if you and I break a bone and we have a solid bone, the likelihood that it's going to snap and be able to have a clean edge to mend back together is much higher than a bird whose hollow bone snaps and then it shatters, and so you have pieces rather than a clean break. Almost every animal out front in terms of owls and great the eagles and the hawks are animals that either have an eye or a wing injury. Hazel's been with us about 8 years. She came to us, she was about the size of a earthworm, and Hazel's a western hognose snake. She's full grown. She came to us because they are threatened in Illinois, and I can't let you touch her. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
So she came to us because they are threatened in Illinois, and so they are illegal to have as pets. And the DNR confiscated her from an exotic pet store that was trying to sell her. And they brought her to us, and we have kept her. She's full grown now and is one of our ambassador animals, and I take her out on a lot of programs.
Aww.
Einstein Einstein is a turkey vulture, and she came to us in 2011. And turkey vultures are incredibly inquisitive and intelligent birds. She is what we call a human imprint. So birds have a window of development where they imprint on whatever is feeding them. So if it's you or I feeding them, they imprint on humans rather than animals of their own kind. So someone found in Einstein, was raising her as a pet, and then when they realized that she was not pet material, they brought her to us, but by then she was already imprinted. So we have tried on a couple of occasions to integrate her with other turkey vultures. She wants nothing to do with it. She only wants to be around people. So if we were to release her, the first thing she would do is go find someone. She'd go find a person. Because they are very social birds. They live in flocks. She doesn't want to be alone. She wants to be with her flock. She just sees her flock as human. But her idea of affection is painful because she likes to bite. So she is one of our ambassador birds. She lives here full-time at the center. We take her out on programs. We talk about imprinting and the need for people when they find baby animals to not try to raise them yourself, to get them to a rehabber as soon as possible. And Einstein got her name because she was trying so hard to interact with us, and she was biting us a lot. And we didn't know what to do with her. So we actually brought in a woman that trains parrots. And that woman taught us how to interact with Einstein by teaching her to go to a perch instead of letting her stand on the ground. And when she goes to the perch, then that's when we feed her. When she goes to the perch, then that's when we'll go in the enclosure. When she steps up on our hand, then we can bring her to this perch and dress her and have her out. But she can't just follow us around and bite at our feet. And the person who trained her, actually she trained us, right? The person who trained us said that Einstein learned in a day what it takes a parrot to learn in 3 months. And at that point, we hadn't named Einstein. We just called her,
she's smart,
that bird. But after we realized that she was smart, that intelligent, we came up with the name Einstein.
Beautiful story.
Yeah.
So the center is open to the public.
It is.
I think that's one thing that probably people want to know is, can I come see the animals?
Sure. And you can come, and everything that's out in front of the building is open to the public. You can do a self-guided tour, or if you want to call ahead and make arrangements, I also do guided tours for groups. There is a small charge to that, but that includes me taking around everybody to each enclosure, talking about the species in general and talking about some of the individuals in specific. And that usually takes around an hour. But you're free to bring people out and look around at any time on your own. We're open 7 days a week for intakes. We're open to the public every day except Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. But even on those days, if you just still wanted to come out, someone's going to be here taking care of the animals. We're just not typically available to interact.
Help, I found an animal. What do I need to do? Do I immediately pick up the phone and call you? Yes. Don't handle it yourself, right?
Well,
I mean, to an extent.
Now, if it's after hours, we have an animal help email, but that usually doesn't get answered until the next day because we're not on call 24/7. But if you call the center during work hours, which is 10 to 6 or 8 to 6 typically, we will give you advice about what to do. We do have people that one of the ways they volunteer for us is as a transporter. So I might have somebody call about something. For example, we had someone call from Belleville about an armadillo that had gotten stuck in the skate park at Belleville and couldn't make it out of the bowl, the skateboard bowl.
Right.
So we sent one of our transporters. They went and picked the armadillo up. brought it here, we're treating it, and it's ready to go back. He had some abrasions from the concrete, and now he's going to be released relatively soon. So
Another success story.
people bring us animals. We try to arrange transportation if we can. The process is whenever anyone brings in an animal, the first thing we do, we have them fill out some paperwork because we have to keep records for the USDA regarding our where we're servicing areas from in Illinois and things like that. We do a head to tail exam on the patient. We provide whatever immediate treatment it needs. We set it up in an enclosure, and we just start the care process.
Speaking of the paperwork, I think it's important for our viewers to know that you do follow very strict permit rules.
Right.
And you have a governance from the National Wildlife Rehabilitators Association. Are you affiliated with them as well?
So our permits come from the federal government. U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the USDA do our permitting, and they come regularly for inspections. They also do surprise inspections, and so when they show up, they're looking at our enclosures to make sure our enclosures are adequate. They're looking at the care of the animals and the animals themselves, making sure they're healthy. They're perusing our records to see, have we taken for example, we cannot accept, the state of Illinois does not allow us to accept bats as a rehab animal because they're a rabies vector animal. So they're going to make sure that we don't have any records indicating that we've gotten in bats. They're going to make sure that all of our permanent resident animals that we have are actually on our permit, so that we're not sneaking in animals or transferring animals and not letting them know. The National Wildlife Rehabilitation Association is a group of people who do this work, and they have conferences every year where they have hands-on training. And so we try to send our staff to that every year so that they can attend the conferences and the workshops and stay up to date on all of the best medications and various treatment options that we might not know of at the moment. So
it's hard to believe that our discussion is almost over. I wish it could just keep going. But in our last couple of minutes here, what gives you the most joy about this facility? What keeps it thriving and going since 1979?
I really do believe that in order to be a part of something like this, you have to really love it. It has to be a labor of love because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And we get a lot of phone calls, and we get a lot of people who love what we do, but we can't save everything, and so sometimes we have to euthanize things, or sometimes things don't survive despite our best efforts. That's always sad, and we also sometimes get some negative pushback from the public about that, because once somebody brings us an animal, they have an investment in that animal, and it's not uncommon for them to call routinely and ask us how their animal is. And when we have to tell them that that animal didn't survive, or that we had to make the decision to humanely euthanize, then not everyone is happy at that news. But then I think about all of the ones who have survived and who are here, who under other circumstances would not have had the lifespan that they've had. And when I get to release babies and I see them run off and frolic off and they're happy, it makes it worth it.
Yes, it does. And there's a lot more information that we could share. We should probably guide people to the website and to the Facebook page. Why don't you encourage them to check that out? Because there are other programs that they could be involved in.
Sure. So we do have both a website online as well as our Facebook page. If you go there, there's different, our Facebook page and our website will talk about various all of our animals are on there. All of our education animals are on there, our permanent residents, and they'll give you their story. It will also tell you about upcoming events. You can become a member, and if you become a member, then you end up getting a monthly newsletter that tells you about what we've done that month, what kind of animals. The Guardian program. That's a program where we have animals that are available to be adopted. and obviously you don't get to take them home, but you pay to take care of them for the year.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get animals in that are new, that are unnamed, and so the first person who becomes that animal's guardian has naming option. They have the naming rights.
Exciting.
So
Lots of stuff going on, as you can hear from the Treehouse Wildlife Center. Marcie Nagle, thank you so much again
Thank you.
for opening your doors to our crew and all of our equipment, and also bringing out Einstein and Hazel for us to visit with. It's been a pleasure
Thank you.
joining you for this episode of the Paw Report. So we thank you, and we thank our viewers of the Paw Report for traveling on the road with us to Dow, Illinois for this episode of the Paw Report. Until next time, I'm your host, Kelly Goodwin. We'll see you then.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
The Castle in Mattoon, Illinois, a gaming bar serving the Mattoon area since 1929. Full bar, draft beer, allocated bourbons, rotating daily specials, APA pool leagues, darts, and more. Monthly craft cocktail nights, open mic nights, and karaoke weekly. The Castle's lineup of concerts and events are on their Facebook.